You can use the Pythagorean theorem to solve for the length of a missing side in a right-angled triangle. The Pythagorean theorem is the formula a squared plus b squared equals c squared, where c is the hypotenuse, the longest side in the triangle. You can find it by looking for the longest side, or it is the side located directly across from the 90-degree angle. We're going to try two examples using the Pythagorean theorem. The first one says solve for x. We have a side of 17 meters, a side of 10 meters, and a missing side x. I also notice that there's a right-angled triangle, which tells me that I can use the Pythagorean theorem. The first step is to identify the sides in the triangle. First, I look for the hypotenuse. I look at the longest side directly across from the 90-degree angle, which means that x is my missing side, C, and then I choose the other two sides to be my A and B. It doesn't matter which one is A or which one is B, so I'm going to let this be A and that one be B. I'm going to write down the formula, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and then sub in my values for A, B, and C. A is 10, B is 17, and C, I don't know, is the missing side x. I'm going to square the two numbers. 10 squared is 100. 17 squared is 289, and that equals x squared. I notice that there is a plus sign in between the two numbers, so I'm going to add those two together to get 389 equals x squared. To undo the square and get it to the opposite side, we do the opposite of a square, which is a square root. We take the square root of 389, and I get an answer of 19.72308292. And I like to keep two decimal places, so I keep the 72. I look at the next number, which is a 3, which tells me I want to leave it as is, and x is approximately 19.72 meters. I put a dot over the equal sign to show that I rounded. The second example is also a right-angled triangle, but this one is a little different. First thing I do is I find my hypotenuse. I find the 90 degrees, I look directly across, there's the longest side, which means that the hypotenuse, or side C, is the 15 meters. I have a choice of labeling A and B as the x and the 12. I'm going to choose to put A for x and B for 12. I write down my formula, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and then I sub in my values. A is x, b is 12, and c is 15. 12 squared is 144, and 15 squared is 225. I notice this time that I do not have an addition sign between the two numbers. I have an equal sign between the two numbers. So I need to move the 144 to the other side. To do that, we're going to subtract 144 from both sides to get that x squared equals 81. The opposite of a square is a square root. So we take the square root of both sides, and the square root of 81 is 9. So x is 9 meters long.